Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to my Facebook Live. I am April Davis. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And this is a recording. It's playing on Thursday, November the 9th, but I'm recording it several days before that because I have to travel for my corporate job to Boston this next week, and I didn't want to miss my Thursday night live, so I'm recording it ahead of time so you guys can still watch it at 7 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. So let's go ahead and get started. We are doing it is a to-go class, so let me bring up the information for the to-go class. Give me just a quick second. And I'll just share that really quickly, especially for those of you that have not had an opportunity to watch my videos before. But every Thursday I do a Facebook Live. It is a to-go class, and what a to-go class means is that you can get this class to go for free. All you have to do is place an order of $40 or more before tax and shipping in my online store, and I will ship you the class to go. It is all 3 cards, 2 of each card, everything you need. I can't do any stamping. I can't, I'm not going to be sending anything utilizing the bundle that I'm going to share tonight as far as the stamps or the punches, but anything that's not part of the bundle that I'm featuring, I will absolutely include in your kit. And that kit will be the last day to place orders for this particular class is the 13th of November. And then I'll get the kits cut the next day, and then I hope to get them in the mail to you by that Wednesday, which is November the 15th. Is that right? Tuesday? Yeah. Yes, the 15th. So you need to be sure to use the host code. I've got the host code up at the top. You need to be sure to use the host code because that tells me that you're interested in the kit. And the one thing that I didn't mention is that if your order is $50 or more, you will actually receive a free set of embellishments. So you can use those to dress up your card as well. And I'll send this for free, just for a $50 order. So any information that you need, let me try to pull a couple things up here. Anything, information you need, you can go to aprildaviscreations.com. All of the information is on my website, so you can go ahead and do that. And let me go ahead and let's talk about what we are actually going to do tonight. So let me do a couple of little changes here. Very good. I think we're good. I'm going to do this, and let's get started. Okay, so tonight, this is basically to-go class number 2 on this particular bundle. I'm featuring the Beary Cute Bundle. I know last class I was calling it Beary Christmas. It's the Beary Christmas Suite. I'm featuring the Beary Christmas Bundle, but I am using some items out of the suite. For example, I'll show you the stamp set and the punch, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But I'm also going to be using the designer series paper that comes in the suite. And then we're going to be utilizing the balmy blue ribbon as well. Oh, and we're also going to be using the snowflake 3D embossing folder. So we'll be utilizing all of those. But the main feature, the main bundle is the Beary Cute Bundle. Now, what's important for me to share with you about this bundle is that right now the stamp is not available, or not the stamp, the punch is not available. I've been watching very closely. Initially, because these cards had been selected and designed quite some time ago when things were available, they've since, because they're so popular, they've since are no longer available. For now, they're supposed to come back. Initially, they said November the 6th. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, November the 6th, we can do this. Except they changed the date now, and now they're not available until the 20th of November. So you will still be able to get it, but not until the 20th of November. But I didn't want to not share these cute cards with you, so I have been fussy cutting the bear. The bear is very simple, as you can see, and so we've done much harder fussy cutting. This is very simple. The punch is nice, but if all else fails and the punch is not available, then we're gonna fussy cut. So that enabled me to still be able to share the bundle with you because the stamps are still available. So let me go ahead and show you the cards that we're going to be making tonight. Grab them really quickly. So we've got a Merry Christmas card with our Papa, Mama, and Baby Bear. That's what I've decided to name them. It just made sense to me. So when I reference them, I'm talking about Papa, Mama, and Baby. We've got another one that features Papa, and then we have also another one that features Papa. And you can see in this collection of cards, I am utilizing a blue hue, if you will. So we're using Misty Moonlight, we're using Balmy Blue, and other blues in between. So let's go ahead and get started with our Merry Christmas card. Make sure I get these, okay. And I'm gonna bring the kit out for you. And in this kit, we have our Misty Blue, or I'm sorry, not Misty Blue, Misty Moonlight cardstock. I have a piece of designer series paper from the Beary Christmas. I have a piece of Balmy Blue that I've already die cut. I try to keep these lives as close to an hour as I can, and sometimes in order to be able to do that, it's helpful if I can do some die cutting ahead of time or embossing ahead of time. I don't do it on everything because I still want to show you how to do it, but I did do it for this one. This particular die comes from the Color and Contour set, and if I open it up, this was a bundle. So you buy the stamps and you buy the dies. I just keep them together, but it does come as a bundle, and I'm utilizing this die for this particular card. So I've already got it run through my cut and emboss, and it's already die cut for us. And then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock to stamp our bears on. I've got the ribbon that we're going to use, and I have one more piece of cardstock in here that I'm going to stamp Baby Bear on, and then I will fussy cut Baby Bear out. I would have to fussy cut Baby Bear out anyway because Baby Bear doesn't have a punch. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the stamping. So we'll do Baby Bear to start. I'm going to pull that stamp out, and we're going to be stamping in my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So I'm going to make sure I get it just looks kind of, I mean, it's doing okay, but it just looked a little thick on my stamp. So let's go ahead and stamp that. Very good. We'll set him off to the side, and then we'll bring this piece of cardstock in. Oh, we're not doing Baby Bear again. Let me get my Stampin' Chamois, or my Simply Chamois, so that I can clean up this stamp. There's a little bit still left in there. I want to pull that all out. Okay, set this off to the side, and let's pull up Papa Bear. And Papa Bear is going to go on the right side. So let me get him all inked up. And we'll stamp him right here. There we go. Clean off that stamp. And then we'll bring in Mama Bear and get her stamped. Make sure I get good coverage. I think I need to refill my ink pad. I keep saying that, and I haven't done it yet. I think it's probably about time for me to get that done. So let me go ahead and get Mama Bear stamped down here. And there we go. And we'll clean her off. Now we're not done stamping yet. We still need to stamp the Merry Christmas, and the Merry Christmas is part of the Beary Cute set. So let me go ahead and pull that stamp out. And we're actually going to stamp the Merry Christmas in the Misty Moonlight. Just test it. Okay. And we're going to stamp it right up here. Make sure I get it lined up. My eyes are playing tricks on me because I don't want to get my head in the way of you guys, but yet I feel like I'm not on my paper. So anyway, we got it. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do before we start to assemble all of this, we do have one more thing to stamp, and that's my present that is going to be sitting on top of Papa Bear. So let's go ahead and do that too. Let me test this. Yeah, it just seems thicker on one side than the other. Okay, let's go ahead and get this lined up and get the present on his back. There we go. Clean this up. I feel like I need to come in just a little bit closer with you guys, so give me just a second. I need to, let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do it on this side or not. I'm going to go back here for just a second and bring this in. Maybe, I think that's better. Okay. Okay, very good. So a couple things we're going to do. I like to outline the bears in a light color. I'm going to utilize the blue today. Since we're using balmy blue, I decided I'm going to go ahead and use my alcohol marker, or they're called Stampin' blends, and they have two sides to them. They have a nib end. Let's see if you can see that. I'll put it over the white. And then we also have a, let me get that lid on. We have a brush tip end, as you can see. What I like to do with these animals, these bears, because they are white, is I want to just add a little bit more dimension to them, or a little bit more, I don't know, just to help them to stand out a little bit more. So I'm just very lightly going to take my alcohol marker and just go around the bears. This way, you know, it doesn't look like they've been stamped that much either. So let me just do that real quick. I like the way it looks. You don't have to do this. You may choose not to. It's just, these polar bears are white and they just need a little bit of something. And this works actually on a number of different animals that you can do. I've done it with, I've outlined ducks before. So there's, you can just play around with it and see if you like it. I've used lighter colors. I've used darker colors. I've decided to use the balmy blue, like I said, because I'm using balmy blue on the card. So we're gonna go ahead and get her lined up. Missed a little spot there, so we'll just fill it in. Okay, so those guys are done. Let me get her ear. And then I'm gonna do baby bear too. I mean, we can't leave baby bear out. So let me get this done real quick. And you can do the whole bear. I'm doing the whole bear this time around, but you might choose to just do the areas that would have shading. I'm not a very good shader. I try, so I just default to the whole thing, and then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so baby bear is done. While I've got my alcohol, well, actually I'm gonna show you a different technique. I'm going to bring in both of the ink pads because we need to color in the present. Now you can do a couple of things. You could use the alcohol markers and color in the present. However, I want to show you a new technique. So these pens are called blender pens, and they have a white point to them. So you can see this. They're white. And they're just made for blending. And what you do is because there's no ink in them, you can dip into your, let me see if I can squeeze this so I can get some on my lid. If I can't get any on my lid, then I'm just going to take a block. Okay, I got a little bit. We can do that. You can do one of two things. You can either try to get a little bit of the ink on your pen, and then what you're going to do, or the lid, and then you're going to bring your pen in, and now you can see, maybe you can see, maybe you can see the blue on the end of the pen. It's picking up my ink. And then what I'll do is I'll just go in and I will color in my present with the ink from my pad. So if you didn't have blender pens, I see some ink here, so I'm going to grab it. If you didn't have the Stampin' blends, you could still do this by just having a blender pen. And the blender pens are in the regular catalog. I think they come in sets of 2 or 3 actually, so you get a couple. But I'm going to go ahead and get this colored in, and you can go back in and you can make it darker if you choose to make it darker. I think I'm good with that because I'm going to use the darker color. And then when you're done, all you do is color on your paper or your scrap paper. And now the ink is off. So now I can go to my next color, which is going to be my Misty Moonlight. And let me see if I can get some of it squished onto my lid. It didn't squish onto my lid. So that's not a problem. I could work on it a little bit more. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a block, an ink block, or a stamp block, and I'm just going to tap it on my ink. Sometimes I do this accidentally. This time I'm doing it on purpose. Those of you that were at my last Facebook Live know what I'm talking about. So same thing, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to grab some of the ink off of this block, and I'm going to color in my present. And it's a darker ink, which is what I wanted. I can go lighter, I can go darker. Let's pull some more. But it's nice to know that you can utilize your ink pads for some of this coloring, especially if you don't have the markers or the Stampin' blends. We have markers as well that are not alcohol, they're water-based, but these are, okay. So I just chose to do my present, the same color stripes all the way across. You can just get creative as however you want to, but now you can see that I've got my light colors and my dark colors, and I used my blending pen, and then that was a dark ink as you saw, but now what I can do is I can just color on my scrap paper, and now my pen is ready to go for the next project that I have. And then the ink block just gets cleaned off on my Stampin' chamois so that I don't get ink where I don't want it. Okay, so that was fun. Let's go ahead now and let's fussy cut little baby bear out quickly so that we can start assembling the card. Fussy cutting, I don't mind fussy cutting. I've shared this before, but I really don't mind fussy cutting. But if I had a choice between a punch and some dies, I probably would take those just because it goes faster. Fussy cutting, so I've heard some people say, oh, they just love to fussy cut. It's kind of, they do it like when they're watching TV, although I don't know how you can watch TV and cut at the same time. Maybe they listen to the TV. But it's just very calming and relaxing to them, and so they enjoy doing it. I don't mind it, but again, if I have a punch or a die, I would much rather do that. At the same time, I'm not going to avoid fussy cutting because there's so many fun things you can do being able to fussy cut out some of your stamped images to create your card. If you're paying attention to my fussy cutting, you notice that I'm really spending most of my time turning the paper. My scissors stay pretty steady. They don't move much. I just move them enough to do the cutting, but I spend most of my time turning the paper. And I'm gonna cut that off because I can't see. And that makes it a lot easier for me. The other thing that I do, and it's just it's just preference. Sometimes it just depends upon how close I get. I like to leave just a little bit of white around the edges. Sometimes I get too close and I don't leave as much white, but that's my preference most of the time, is to leave a little bit of white. Okay, we have our bears done. We've got our little baby bear done. So let's start to assemble the card. So we're gonna pull out the cardstock. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but my sample has, let me see if I can get this at the right angle. We've got snowflakes. We've got snowflakes all around here. So how did I do this? What I did is I went ahead and I took my cardstock, folded it in half. And then what I did is I brought in my cut and emboss and embossed one side of it. I've got to find my my embossing folder, which is right here. So let's bring the cut and emboss in with the appropriate plates. We're going to embossing, so we need those plates. And I have to use the big one. When I'm doing lives, I like to use the smaller one, the mini cut and emboss more, just because it's smaller and it doesn't take up as much room. However, this embossing folder is much larger and it won't work in my mini, so I have to go ahead and bring in the big one. So now what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to take my cardstock and I am going to, let's see, what do I want to do? It really doesn't matter. I can switch it one way or another, but I'm only going to put half of it in. So I'm literally going to put it in and close it up. Then we'll go ahead and crank it through. Oop. And of course, I don't know if, can I do this backwards? I'm not left-handed, so oh, there we go. I can do it this way. So I'm cranking it through. Pulling that out. I'm going to pull this guy out of the way. He's so big. Get my plates out of the way. And then I can go ahead and I can pull out my folder. And now we have and in fact, I'm going to switch it this way because I want the raised edges on the outside, or the raised part on the outside. So let me go ahead and I'm going to actually put it this way. And now we've got this embossed. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take the designer series paper that I've chosen and we're going to adhere it to the bottom of the front of the card. So let me get my glue out. I didn't close it up last night. Uh-oh. I think we'll be fine. I just had to take off the end. So let's go ahead and get this adhered. And I'm going to put little snowflakes down at the bottom. Just line it up edge to edge all the way around. Okay. And then I can take the next piece, the piece that I die cut, and I'm going to center it in the middle of the card. Whoop. Go ahead and get this centered. Maybe bring it down just a little bit, because I want the snowflakes to show, so I don't want to cover them up completely. So I think I'm going to line this up like with the edge of the line that's going through right here. Okay, so we've got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the ribbon that I had, and where did that ribbon go? Oh, it's on the floor. Oops, be right back. I got to go down and grab the ribbon. Okay, here we go. Isn't that pretty? It's a sparkly ribbon and it's in balmy blue. So we're just going to take it and we're going to, basically what I'm going to do is, you can see the line where the designer series paper lines up. I'm just going to kind of center it over that. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few glue dots. I think that'll probably be the easiest. You could put glue on it. If I had a tape runner, I probably could maybe use the tape runner. In fact, I do, so let's go ahead and try that. This is our Stampin' Seal. I was looking for my silicone mat because I like to do Stampin' Seal on my silicone mat, but I think since I don't know where it's at right at the moment, I'm going to just wing it. So let me see if it's working. Stampin' Seal, are you working? Are you adhering? I don't feel like it's adhering to my material. My material's just getting fuzzy. So, all right, we tried. Back to the dots. You never know until you try, and that just didn't work for me. Some ribbons you can get away with that, but I think this ribbon is just too fuzzy. So I'm gonna pull off some dots, and there's a couple ways you can do it. I mean, you can do it like this, and even that is gonna be a little, the fuzziness is preventing it from sticking. So I'm gonna have to go to the glue, but it's gonna be covered up. I can't remember how I did it. It's been a while. So let me just take a little strip of glue here. I'm not gonna go from end to end. I don't need to go from end to end. But then what I can do is I can take it and I can center it here, aligning it with my Designer Series paper. And we'll let this set for just a second. A lot of times what I'll do when I'm waiting for something to glue is I'll take a stamp block. These stamp blocks happen to have stamps on them, but I'll take a stamp block and put the stamp block over the top to just kind of help to hold it in place. So while that is setting up and gluing, I'm gonna go ahead and add Baby Bear to the card front, and I need my dimensionals for that. So I'll just pull out some dimensionals here. And I can put a big one here, and maybe I can get a second big one over here. I'm trying to keep the dimensionals from showing through or out the edges when I place the bear down. So I think we're good with respect to that. So I'm just gonna take him and just center him between Mama and Papa, like so. Now what I'll do is I'll put dimensionals on the back of this, and we will then adhere this to the card over the ribbon. So the ribbon will be sticking out on each edge. So I've got, and one for the middle. I always go one for the middle. And let's go ahead and take the blocks off. Bring the card back down. Just want to make sure. It looked like it was a little, okay. So let's take the dimensionals off. There we go. And we're going to center this piece in the square here, and there's like little stitched dots here, so it's going to make it fairly easy to do that. So I'm just going to layer this right over the ribbon, and now we have card number 1 done. How pretty. Actually, yes, we have card number 1 done. I thought maybe I'd missed a piece, but I have not. So let me put those off to the side, and I'm going to pull in card number 2 so we can get started on it. So here's card number 2. We're going to do it up just a little bit differently because I wanted to use the Designer Series paper from the Beary Christmas. So I'm not using the same paper that was initially used on the card when it was created. So we have the basic white cardstock that's your base. We have a piece of basic white that we're going to actually start aligning our DSP to. And then we've got a piece of basic white for your warm wishes, and we've got a piece of basic white for the bear. The bear we're going to fussy cut. The warm wishes we're actually going to die cut out of my deckled circle dies. And this particular one, I'm just going to take a guess because I don't remember. I think it's 3rd from the bottom or 3rd from the smallest. And I guessed correctly. So we'll pull this one out and we will die cut that. So let me think here. Let's go ahead and do our stamping and get those out of the way. And then once we've got the stamping done, we'll go ahead and glue our strips to our card, and we can do, because I don't know if you can see it or not, but this card is embossed as well with the snowflakes again. So let's go ahead and get started with the stamping. So the square piece is going to be for the warm wishes. I'm going to take my balmy blue, move some of this stuff out of the way, take the balmy blue, and just stamp warm wishes. So here's my warm wishes stamp. You can tell I've been using a lot of red, real red, so I'm excited tonight to be able to use the blue. That looks good. So let me do this again. Make sure I get good coverage. And I'm going to just put it right in the middle, and then I can center the die around it after, when we get ready to cut. So we have warm wishes. So let me clean this one up. We're going to stamp our bear again in the tuxedo black. This is Papa Bear. Try to get good coverage on him. That looks good. We're going to fussy cut him out, so I'm just going to make sure he fits on my piece of paper. Doesn't have to be straight, because he's going to be cut out. Here we go. And let's go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to continue to use the balmy blue just because that's the theme for tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and outline him like I had done the bears previously. So let's go ahead and get that done. I actually enjoy coloring. I wouldn't, actually qualify this as coloring, but it is fun to have a project, and I'll probably have some as we go forward, but it is fun to have a project where you actually get to do some coloring with both with the Stampin' blends and with the markers. What's fun with the markers is you can actually color on the stamps. You can't use your Stampin' blends on the stamps because they are an alcohol marker and they are permanent, but you certainly can do that with your Stampin' Up! Markers. Okay, let's go ahead and get him fussy cut while we're getting this done. And then that way, when we do start to assemble, everything will be ready to go. So we'll just give him a quick cut. And the punch is nice. I'm just so grateful that this particular bundle, because the punch is not available, that you are able to fussy cut this bear out, because this bear really is fairly easy to cut out. There are some that I would probably have had to abandon ship in the 9th hour because the bundle wasn't going to be available. Like I said, it was supposed to be, it's just the punch. The stamp is available, but it was supposed to be available on the 6th, so I wasn't really worried about it. It was just a few days. But now that they've pushed it out to the 20th, you just kind of have to think about it, because I don't want to get you guys all excited about something and then not be able to do it. But I have every confidence that you guys can fussy cut this bear. So I decided, yes, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this series. And then next week, we'll have series number 3 of this bundle, and it is in yet another color theme. So last week was reds, this week is blues, and next week I'm going to surprise you. I'm not going to tell you yet. But it'll be fun. You guys will really enjoy it. These cards have been so fun. And it's so fun to take a stamp set and do so many different things with it. That's why I enjoy doing the bundles, because I like to be able to show you that there's so much variety as far as what you're able to create. So let me go ahead and get his foot. He's got a little pointy paw, but I don't think anybody will notice. Let me get this out of here. Flatten him out so he's not so wrinkled. And then the next thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and get our strips adhered to this piece of cardstock so we can go ahead and do our die cutting and we can go ahead and get this embossed. So I'm gonna lay these out. I'm not sure, since I'm using a totally different scheme. I wanna figure out how I want to lay this out. Maybe put some of the green over here and I have the blues in the middle. Maybe have my snowflakes in the middle. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just what I'm choosing to do. And I want to keep these two pieces apart. So let's go with this. So I'm going to go ahead and take my glue. And let's get this one lined up. And I'm going to do it from edge to edge. Slide that down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one, because what I want to make sure that my pieces are spaced appropriately. And I feel like, at least for me, if I start with the first and the last, then I have an easier time spacing them in the middle. So let's go ahead and get this one down. And then I can worry about how those others are going to space. Okay. So now I'm thinking probably, that looks good. And again, I'm going to go from the outside to the inside. So that middle piece is going to be the last piece that I'm going to glue down so that I can center it between the two pieces that I'm going to go ahead and put down now. So let me look at this, make sure that I like where it's at and the spacing that I have. End to end. We'll do this one now. Hopefully I've spaced it out enough. I tend to be conservative, but I've spaced it out enough so that when I put this little one in the middle, he's actually going to have more space between the two. But if I'm going to do that, I'd rather have it on the center piece than have it on the end pieces. So I eye it. If you want to get exact, you could probably put like little tick marks in there or something to help you with getting it aligned. But I'm good with this. So let's go ahead and get that centered in there. Make sure I've got it even on each side. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to turn it over, and actually everything lined up really well. So the next step to all of this is to bring out my big Stampin' Cut again. I could actually do this on the little one, but since I'm going to have the big one out, we're just going to do it all together at the same time. So bring it out. I am going to be embossing, so I've got my two plates that I'm going to emboss with. And of course I've got the crank on the side. I'm not left-handed, so it's just a little awkward for me, but it's working. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of cardstock and I'm going to line it up in the embossing folder. Because the card is going to be horizontal, I want to make sure that when I align it in my embossing folder that it's going horizontal, because the way that the snowflake embossing folder works is you have light snow on the top, and as it gets further to the bottom it gets dark, and I want that dark, but I want to make sure that I don't have light. I don't want the light to go across all of it. If I turn it this way, I guess that's the best way for me to explain it. I'm going to have light here and dark here, and it's not going to fall correctly. Okay, so let me go ahead and line this up again. And it doesn't have to be perfect, April. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and crank it through. Actually, I'm getting pretty good cranking with my left hand. This time was way easier. All right, move that out of the way. Take this out of the way. Open up our embossing folder. And it's very, what's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. It's very pretty, but it's very light. It's not in your face, if you will, but anybody looking at the card, at least in person when you're looking at the card, you can actually see the embossing in the various strips. Gosh, I almost had the word and it fell out of my head again. Subtle, very subtle. Is that the word I'm looking for? I think so. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble our card now. We're going to adhere this piece to the base. We're going to center it. You can really see the embossing on the back, or the debossing. Okay, so I've got that. Let's go ahead and we're going to center it on the card. Need to scooch it over just a little bit on this side. Scooch it down a little bit this way. Is scooch a real word? I don't think I'm the only one that uses it, but it just means a smidgen, right? But I don't know if we were to look it up in the dictionary, if we'd find it. I don't know, maybe. Okay. Oh, gosh, you know what? Guess what? I didn't cut this out. So, yay! I have my mini cut and emboss here as well. So I think I just really wanted to use my mini cut and emboss. So let's go ahead and get this set up so that I can cut out my warm wishes. So we'll go ahead and get this lined up. It fits on my piece of cardstock perfectly. So I just want to get it lined up. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of tape to hold my die in place so it doesn't slide or move, and then we'll crank this through. So much easier to use on these smaller dies. I love my cut and embosses. I love both of them. They both get lots of love. But when I'm doing classes, at least the Facebook Lives, it's so much easier to use the small one. So I had it handy though, yay. Okay, so there's our warm wishes. This die off to the side so I don't lose it. Bring my card back in, and we're gonna start to assemble the rest of this. So I need my dimensionals again. And we're gonna put down the warm wishes first. Let me see, I'm gonna try to, I've been accused of overusing dimensionals. I don't think you can overuse dimensionals. However, some people, they might have just put one in the middle and called it good. I just like it when it's sturdy. I don't like sagging. So I prefer to use a few more dimensionals, but it's not necessary. Okay, so I'm just gonna layer it right. Let me see. Let me see where I want my bear to go. Okay, let's put it about right here in the middle. Is that centered? That looks good. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put dimensionals on the bear as well. And he doesn't need any on his head because his head is gonna be resting on the sentiment, like so. So I'll go ahead and pull these off. I think I put my sentiment up a little high. It doesn't really matter. It's personal preference. It just means my bear's not going to go down quite as low as it had before. So I'm going to set my bear here. And it's good. One more thing we're going to do is I've got some of the embellishments that I'm going to use, but the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out our Wink of Stella. Our Wink of Stella is basically it's a glitter pin. It adds sparkle to your cards. So I'm going to I think what I'm going to do, yeah, I don't think, I know it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. I do, I'm just thinking out loud. So I want to take, you have to squeeze, and I'm concerned, I think this little black piece needs to come off. This is a new pen. So the black piece needs to come off. Basically what it's doing is it's preventing the pen from pinching the cartridge where the Wink of Stella is. So now I'm able to screw it in further. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a squeeze because I've got to prime it. I can see it coming. It's coming. There, oh, there it is. Okay. I got to be careful because a lot came out. I don't want that much, but that's what happens when you start to prime. Okay, so we're going to keep that off to the side so that we don't get it, make a mess with it. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your Wink of Stella and you're just going to color in your bear. And I'm going to go ahead, I don't want to waste that. So I'm going to go ahead and color them in. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But what it's going to do is it's going to give some shine to my bear and make him sparkle. Make him stand out. You can go very light. You can go heavier. I probably would not have gone this heavy initially, except for it's a new pen. But when it dries, it'll dry clear. And then you'll just see all the glitter. Try to spread that out a little bit. It's just glitter. That's okay. All right, so put my cap back on. That's our Wink of Stella. I'm going to get this out of the way before I make a mess. Oh, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our gems while that's drying, our festive pearls, and I'm going to put some sparkle on. So let me decide, what do I want to do? I think maybe the colors that these are, does it tell me what colors they are? I know I've got gold, I've got silver, I've got red, and this is probably a green. But I'm trying to decide whether I want the green or I want the silver. I think I want the silver. I'm kind of in a silver mood. And so I'm going to put a silver one here. And let's do one here. And then I'm going to take this last one. I'm going to put it down over here. And now we finished our card. So you can see the difference in the two cards. We've got this card, and then we've got it with the Beary Christmas, and I've got the Wink of Stella on it. The Wink of Stella is a little thick. I might go in and put yet another coat on just to kind of even it out, but I'll do it after it has a chance to dry. But it is, I don't know if you can see it, it's shimmering. Can I get the light to show you how it shimmers and sparkles? Oh, that's a good one. See how it's shimmering and sparkling? So fun. Okay, so move these off to the side, let that dry, and I'm going to bring our last card in. Move those out of the way. And basically what I've done is we've got the Balmy Blue. Let's do this. There's a lot of pieces to this one. We've got the Balmy Blue cardstock. We have the base layer that we're going to utilize. We have another layer that we're stamping on that will layer on top of that. We have a layer that's going to go on the inside of the card, so we've got that layer. And then we've got the layer that's going to have the sentiment on it. And we have a layer for the bear, for Papa Bear, and then we have a layer for the snow. I don't know if you can see the snow or not. See the snow? If I angle it just right, can you see how there's snow here? Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. And then this time around, I did stamp Papa Bear, and he's already punched out instead of fuzzy cut because I did it before I knew. But that will save us a little bit of time because I want to spend time on some of the other things that we're doing on this card. And then we've got a piece of Night of Navy that we're going to actually die cut a snowflake out of. And what we're going to be utilizing for our dies is the sentiment, the tag that the sentiment is going on is actually from our Waves of Inspiration bundle. And this bundle has a tag, or yeah, basically a tag. It actually has a couple of them. So I'm going to pull this one out. We're going to use this one. And then the wishes all around, we're going to be stamping, die cutting the snowflake from. What I was thinking about and what I wanted to say is that it's so fun to have a number of different sets and then borrow from each one of the sets or use each one of the sets to create your card. So my cards you've seen tonight are not just the bundle. They are they're from other die sets and stamp sets as well. Okay, so I've got my dies out. Let's go ahead, and this is a perfect time to bring in my mini emboss. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in, bring in my mini emboss, and we are going to die cut out, get the layers going correctly, the snowflake that we're gonna utilize. So let's just go ahead and, it moved a little bit. That's why sometimes I tape, but I think I can get by without taping this one. So let's go ahead and cut this one out. Look at that sweet snowflake. So delicate. Punch out the little centers of it. I used to take your pick, pointy of it. I don't know, you guys can't see. So I'm just punching out these little centers so that we can be ready to use our snowflake. So I'm going to set it up here. Take this mess and set it over here. And then normally what I would do is I would, gosh, am I going to, I don't want to do this and then I'm going to say, now this is what you don't do. Normally what I like to do is I like to be able to stamp my sentiment and then center my die. Center my die over the stamping. I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do, because if I wing it and I go ahead and die cut it and then stamp it, it's just more challenging to me. Now, you guys are gonna have that challenge because I'm gonna go ahead and die cut this for you. In fact, all right, guys, just because I'm gonna have you guys doing that, I'll go ahead and do it too. I will die cut this die. It'll go in the kit for you because it's not part of the bundle. So you'll have the same challenge that I'm going to have here in just a second. And that is just lining up your stamp to fit that. So let me go ahead and bring this back in. Get focused. I'm going to take my snowflake, put it over here, get rid of all the little bits and pieces from that snowflake so I can die cut my label. Sometimes I am thinking out loud. I know you guys do that too. All right, so let's go ahead and get my label on there. Crank it through. Punch it out. And now we have our label. Okay, now I can move this guy out of the way. I'm going to put my die cut over here, get my scraps out of the way. And we are going to do some stamping. So we're going to stamp on this, and then I want to make sure I get the right, I think maybe it's these two. Yes, it's these two. And then this one's going to go on the inside. And then this was for bear, but we don't need that for bear, and this is for snow. Okay, trying to make sure I've got it all. So let's go ahead and do warm wishes to start. We're going to do it in balmy blue. So let me open up that. Make sure I get a good coating of it. Yep, got it. And then hopefully I don't get my head in this, but this is not hard. I made it sound like it was really hard. It's not hard. But I need to be able to see what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get that stamped. There we go. It's all good. You guys can do it. And then pull that off to the side. And now we get to do snowflakes. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to pull this piece in. And I've got a couple of snowflake stamps. I've got a big snowflake stamp, and I've got a small snowflake stamp. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start with the large snowflake first. And I'm going to do the large snowflake in the Misty Moonlight. Get this open. And I'm going to be doing what we call stamping off, or second generation stamping. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I will stamp, and then I will stamp again. And then I've got two different hues of this Misty Moonlight, a dark hue and a light hue. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to, I want to make sure, look through your stamp or your block to make sure you're coated well. And then I'm just going to move it around. And let me see. I'm actually going to stamp off. So I didn't even stamp on all of my paper. I just stamped off. And I have a little ink spot there. I don't know why I have an ink spot there. So basically what I'm going to do with that ink spot is I'm going to take, and I've got a little bit of snowflake. Oh, looky there, it's gone. And then okay, this is something that I want to teach you. Because I was going to do a second generation, so I did my main one off, the first stamp off. I was going to do a second generation, but because I stamped off, can you see what it did? It left a line. If I hadn't been thinking and not paying attention and just did my second generation stamp, that's exactly what would have stamped. So I need to do this again. I'll do maybe one over here. I did the same thing. I stamped off. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp off here. It just looks like I've got, it's just me. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good clean stamp. And so if I don't want to do another dark one, I want to do a light one, I can stamp off on my scrap, and I can do like that. All right, let me clean this up. And then we're going to bring in the smaller stamp, and we're going to do the smaller snowflakes in Balmy Blue. You can do as many snowflakes as you want. Actually, probably what I should have done, and I wasn't thinking about it because I was focused on this, is while I'm stamping snowflakes and I have the snowflakes out, let's go ahead and stamp the snowflakes for the inside of the card as well. So let me show you again. We've just got a few of them. Okay, and I actually did several of them in the big and the small in the Balmy Blue as well. It doesn't really matter. It's just whatever works for you. So let me take this big one, and I am going to just do a couple of snowflakes here. Okay, and I'll bring that back in a second, but I'm done with the big. Maybe I should do the big. Well, I've got the big, and pull out the Balmy Blue. So let me go ahead and do this. Pull out the Balmy Blue. Get it inked up. Bring this one back in. And I think I'm going to do one here and maybe one here, a light one. And then I'm going to do smaller baby blues with the smaller stamp, which is, I'm sure I pulled it over, right? There it is. So let me test it. There we go. And let's put one here and one here, maybe over here, over here. Don't you like how I'm talking out loud? Okay, I think well, maybe I'll put another one over here. I don't want them like in a row. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this one back over. And we'll just put a little one. Let's stamp that off. We'll put a little one here. And stamp that off and put a little one here. And I'm going to put one more. See, we've got the sentiment that we're going to, oh, we're not putting a sentiment in there. Okay, we got to leave room to write. So I think that's enough. Sometimes I feel like less is more. I know you guys have heard that before, but you know, you just keep going, and then suddenly more is more. So I tend to stop where less is more. So let me bring this back in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this label, and the label's going to go right here, like so. And I'm going to bring our ribbon out. So the ribbon will be woven through the label, and I'm going to wrap it around the back of the, let me see, I got to think about how I'm doing this way. And then I just want a little bit on each side, just enough to be able to wrap it around the back and tape it down. So we've got this one, I think that's going to be plenty. So let me go ahead and cut this off. So my label back off to the, or my ribbon back off to the side. And then I'm going to bring this up through here. So now we have it. And basically what we'll do is we will put some dimensionals on the back so that the ribbon, I mean, let me just look at this for just a second. What I don't want to do, because I remember doing this last time, I don't want to put the dimensionals on the ribbon itself because there's already dimension to the ribbon. So I could just put the ribbon down without any dimensionals. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if I can use some mini dimensionals on the edges, and it will kind of hold the ribbon in place. Not that I'm going to have an issue with the ribbon moving, but I just really didn't want, let me see if that's too close. I think it's going to work. I wanted to be able to secure the label down, but I didn't want to put the dimensionals on tops of the label because then it would be too raised. So if I do it like this, it kind of helps to keep it centered, but when I lay it down on the card, everything is even. Did that make sense? I hope it did. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pull these dimensionals off, or the backs, I should say, of the dimensionals. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my ribbon out of the way of my dimensionals so I can get a good stick, if you will. Okay, and then we're just going to turn it and we're going to center it pretty much about, nope, it needs to come over more. I'm not centered. Let's see, a little bit more maybe. I think I like that. Sometimes I stare at it too long and then it's like, April, just stick it down. It's good. You don't have to be perfect, but I want it to be in the center. Okay, I believe I have some, I thought I had some tear and tape over here. Let me see if I can find it. Don't I have some tear and tape here? Maybe I don't. So let's go ahead and we'll just use glue. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this end, a little bit of glue on this end, and then we're going to bring this over. Okay, and I'm just going to have to let it set for just a second so that it glues. While we're doing that, we're going to make snow. So remember that piece of cardstock that I called the snow cardstock. The way that we're going to make snow, because the polar bear likes snow and it likes to walk on snow. So we're going to take this piece of cardstock and we're just going to start pulling towards us. And as you pull towards you, you can kind of do some dips and turns and make it a little bit uneven. But as you tear, there's texture in the cardstock. So let me bring it up so you can see. Can you see the texture? I'm trying to see if I can get it at an angle where you can see it right along here. So it looks like snow. So that what we'll do is we'll turn this over and we're going to put the snow at the bottom of this piece. So let's go ahead and glue that down. And I'm only going to glue down just the 3 edges because I don't want my snow to, I don't know, I want to give it some breathing room, if you will. So if I don't glue it down and I just do the 3 edges, then it has a little bit of that breathing room. And then what I can do is I can take my bear and put my bear on dimensionals and adhere him. So let me, I'm talking and thinking of my next step. I don't want to forget anything. And one of the things that I was thinking about actually is in my previous, when I did the card initially, the snow came down a lot, or not the snow, the snowflakes came down a lot further. So I'm trying to decide if I'm happy with how I have my snowflakes right now. And I think I actually am. So I'm going to be happy to go ahead and adhere my bear. I just was thinking to myself, should I put some more snowflakes on? And I decided I don't want to put more snowflakes on. So I'm going to bring him up just a little bit. We're going to center him right here. You can see the snow around him. And remember, we have this little bitty snowflake that we're going to put right here on the label. So I'm actually going to take a glue dot for it. And I'll center the glue dot right on the snowflake. And then I'm going to use my scissors. What I'm going to try to do is lift this up without bending the snowflake, because the snowflake is so delicate that I want to see if I can get underneath that glue dot without doing too much havoc to my snowflake, which it appears that I was able to do quite well. So let me go ahead and put my snowflake right here. So that looks good. And now we are ready to adhere this layer to, you know what, guys? It's okay. It's okay. I actually used the layer that I was supposed to lay this down on. It's all good. It's all good. Do you guys ever make mistakes? I make more mistakes than you guys probably even are aware of. And now that I've been doing these Facebook Lives, I feel like I'm getting caught. You know, I make mistakes all the time. And what you do with mistakes is you just figure out how you're going to work with them. So I wanted the smaller card stock, and I could have done it the other way. There's no reason why I couldn't have done it the other way. But I really did want this layer on the smaller cardstock because I wanted more blue showing through, as you can see here. If I'd have put the larger piece on, I would have had less blue showing through. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way for just a second because I think probably what we're going to have to do is come in and stamp some more snowflakes so that I've got some snowflakes for my inside card. But we'll get the outside card done first. Now what I can do is I can take this and adhere it. It makes me happy. I like the way that I had designed it initially, so I'll just stamp more snowflakes. It's all good. So let me go ahead and get this centered. Let me see. Centered right here and here. So I'm actually recording this on a Friday night. And so you guys can see it on next Thursday. And tomorrow I am doing a craft fair at the Spring Hill Middle School. So if you happen to live in Spring Hill, Kansas, or surrounding areas, I would love for you to come stop by. The fair is from 9 to 2 tomorrow. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of vendors. I think I saw that there's going to be over 80 vendors there. So there's going to be a lot. And of course, I will be there with my Stampin' Up! And I've got various kits that I'm going to have available as well. But it's just a fun environment to be in. I know that they've got some food trucks, and to me that just says fall. Fall is when you go to craft shows and you just have some fun. So where do I want this to go? We'll go right here, and then I'm gonna do one more little one, and then we will be close to being done. Pretty close. Do I want blue? What color do I want? Okay, we're gonna do some Stampin' Off on that one. So we'll stamp this one off, and I'm just gonna put a little snowflake here, and I'm gonna do one more little snowflake, but it's gonna go, whoops, I think I didn't get that stamped off right. Stamp right there. Okay, so now I feel like I need one more. So let's do one more dark one, and I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, now I'm done, I promise. All right. And you know what? You guys probably create the same way. It's like you have an idea of what you want to do, and sometimes you just go rogue. I know there are some of you that come to my classes, my in-person classes, and I will have designed the cards, and you guys go rogue on me all the time, which I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Because creativity is meant to go rogue. You know, you're thinking about something, and you just want to, you get a whim or whatever it might be. It's just like, this is what I want to do. And then you just do it. Okay. So there we go. One more thing I want to do, excuse me, is I just want to add some embellishments. And I have to remember where I put them. Excuse me. They're here somewhere. Remember? You guys saw them. I used them on my last card. But where did I put them? Boy, I don't know. I think I found them. Okay. Sorry, I have a tickle. I got to take a drink quick. All right. We're still going to use these. And I don't know, snow, and I just don't see golden snow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put one right there in the middle of my snowflake. And then maybe I'll put a couple, one right there. And I'm going to put another one right here. Silver just seems snow to me. I don't know. The blue, that's how it works for me tonight. And then I'm going to put one there. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have card number 3 done. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so let me bring in, I got to scooch all this stuff out of the way so I can bring in the cards and show you what we did. I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of doctoring to my little bear that got too much Winkostella on him. He's fine, but I think if I just give him another little coat, he'll be good. And then, where's my other cards? These 2 cards. Pull them up. There you go. So cute, right? This is just an adorable set. It's such a fun, adorable set. And there's so much you can do with them. So if you didn't see my Facebook Live last week, you can catch it on YouTube where I did these in red. Today was blue, and next week will be a surprise. So let me come back and chat with you and just wrap things up. Thank you for joining me tonight. Even though I'm not here, you know that I'm with you in spirit. And I'll be checking in to see if there's any comment. Well, you can't really comment, right? Because it's recorded. But you can message me on Facebook if you need to, or put some comments on Facebook if you've got any questions. And then just remember that the orders for this particular to-go kit need to be placed by November the 13th. I'm going to bring up the host code again, just to remind you what that host code is. Again, all of that information is also out on my website at aprildaviscreations.com. So I'll just bring that up real quick for you as well, so you can see that. So again, thank you for joining me tonight. I always have so much fun, but I will admit it's way more fun when you guys are with me and I can see your comments. So I'm looking forward to being back next week. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys. See you later.